After my brother Warnie went off to boarding school, our childhood memories kept me company. I, Clive Staples Lewis, often found solace in the world of books. One rainy afternoon, as the fog draped the Irish landscape, I stood in our home, pondering which book to dive into next. With books in nearly every room and towering piles in the attic, the decision was never easy. Would it be the travels of Gulliver or the mysteries with Sherlock Holmes? In Warnie's absence, I didn't just read. I also penned my own stories filled with talking animals and chivalrous knights. These tales made the real world seem rather dull in comparison. Years later, when Mother fell ill, I remember praying with all my heart, the plea of a young boy, desperate and hopeful, begging for his mother's recovery. When she passed, my faith wavered. With my father, Albert, equally devastated, I felt abandoned. At that point, I questioned God's intentions and declared that I didn't believe in God anymore. I was an atheist. Fast forward to 1917, the University of Oxford became my haven. Immersed in debates and literature, I encountered works of Christian authors like George MacDonald and G.K. Chesterton. Their writings stirred something within me. In the midst of the bustling intellectual life at Oxford, I found a kindred spirit in J.R.R. Tolkien. You might know him as the author of The Lord of the Rings. Like me, Ronald, as I like to call him, was enchanted by the world of myths. Stories of gods, heroes, and majestic quests had always captivated my heart. Yet, while these tales stirred my imagination, my personal anguish, and the evident suffering in the world kept me distant from embracing the Christian faith. One transformative day, Tolkien and I took a reflective walk through the Malvern Hills. In our deep conversations, Ronald posed an idea that struck me profoundly. "Jack," he said, as he liked to call me, "you've always had a passion for myths, haven't you? You find depth, meaning, and a sense of wonder in them. What if I told you that the story of Jesus Christ is in itself the truest of myths, not a mere tale, but a myth that happened in the realm of history?" It felt as if scales fell from my eyes. I had always seen the story of Jesus much like any other myth, profound yet distant. Yet Ronald's words painted it in a different light. He was suggesting that the gospel bore all the hallmarks of the myths I loved, the sacrifice, redemption, resurrection. But it wasn't just a tale. It was reality, a fact. That very conversation marked a pivotal shift in my spiritual journey. I began to see Christianity not merely as a collection of moral tales or doctrines, but as a beautiful intersection of myth and truth. Here was a story, as enchanting and profound as any myth, yet it was grounded in the reality of history. With this renewed understanding, the gospel story was no longer just a moral lesson to me. It became the truest myth, intersecting mythic grandeur with historical fact. This profound realization led me back to the embrace of Christianity. The myth had become fact, a reality. It represented redemption, sacrifice, and a love that wasn't confined to the pages of a story, but had etched its mark on history itself. As I reflected further, I felt a stirring within me. I realized that this beautiful synthesis of story and truth was something I needed to share, to defend and to discuss. This newfound perspective on the gospel, as the true myth, became foundational to my faith and would come to inform much of my writing and thought in the years that followed. My newfound faith shaped my writings. While I defended Christianity with logic and reason, my inner child crafted tales like Narnia to convey spiritual truths. I recall a day when Lucy Barfield, my goddaughter, eagerly requested a story. The tale that unfolded that day was the inception of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, a story set in the magical world of Narnia. Through Narnia and other writings, I hope to inspire and teach generations about the profound truths of our faith. Though life presented its challenges, such as losing my dear wife Joy to cancer, my faith remained steadfast. The very faith I had questioned and later championed saw me through the darkest of times. Here are some questions for you, my dear viewers, to ponder. Rainy days can be full of possibilities. What's your favorite way to spend them? Do you think my love for reading shaped my future? Everyone's journey to faith is unique. What led me to Christianity, and what has influenced your understanding of God? Engaging with friends with differing beliefs can be illuminating. How would you discuss your faith with a friend who doesn't believe? Narnia is filled with symbolism and lessons. If you've read the books, what spiritual messages did you gather? Until next time, my young travelers, God bless.